I was standing in line at a gas station on Route 9, holding a pack of Tylenol and a Gatorade, when my wife's face appeared on the phone of the guy in front of me. Not a photo, a video call. She was laughing, head thrown back, wearing the red lingerie I'd bought her for our anniversary 3 months ago. The lingerie, she said, made her feel uncomfortable and had supposedly returned. The guy, early 20s, gym rat build, backwards cap, was grinning at his screen. "Yeah, babe, I'll be there in 20. Tyler's gonna crash at his girlfriend's place tonight, so we've got the whole apartment." My hands went numb. The Gatorade bottle slipped from my grip and hit the floor, rolling toward the counter. The guy glanced back, annoyed. That's when I saw it clearly. The background behind my wife's laughing face. Our bedroom. The cream-colored walls I'd painted last spring. The decorative mirror from her mother. "Sorry," I managed, bending to grab the bottle. My vision tunneled. He turned back to his phone, lowering his voice but not enough. "Nah, just some old dude who can't hold his stuff. Listen, I'm grabbing beer. You want White Claw or—" I walked out, left everything on the floor and walked straight to my truck. My name is David Patterson. I'm 34 years old, a civil engineer for the county, and until approximately 90 seconds ago, I thought I had a decent marriage. Not perfect, whose is, but decent. Solid. We'd been together for 8 years, married for 6. No kids yet, which she said she wanted to wait on until her career stabilized. She was a pharmaceutical sales rep, always traveling, always networking. Always traveling. I sat in my truck, hands shaking on the steering wheel. The rational part of my brain was trying to find alternative explanations. Maybe it was an old video. Maybe I'd misidentified our bedroom. Maybe— No. I'd seen the date on the digital clock on our nightstand. Today's date. It was 2:47 p.m. on a Thursday. I'd left work early with a migraine, which is why I'd stopped for Tylenol. Melissa thought I was at the office until 6, same as always. She'd texted me at lunch. "Working from home today? Probably going to take a nap. Love you." Working from home. Right. I pulled out my phone and opened the location-sharing app we'd set up last year after she'd gotten a flat tire in a bad neighborhood. Her dot pulsed on the screen, right where it should be. Our house. 412 Maple Drive, Riverside, New Jersey. The guy had said 20 minutes. If he was at this gas station and our house was 15 minutes away. I started the engine. My migraine was gone. In its place was a crystalline clarity I'd never experienced before. Every detail stood out in sharp relief. The crack in my windshield I'd been meaning to fix, the pop song playing on the radio, the way the autumn sunlight hit the yellow lines on the road. I drove carefully, 5 miles under the speed limit. Checked my mirrors, used my turn signal. Some distant part of me recognized this as shock, but I felt utterly calm. Our house was a small 3-bedroom ranch we'd bought 2 years ago. Starter home, we'd called it. The place we'd build equity before upgrading when kids came along. White siding, black shutters, a maple tree in the front yard that was just starting to turn orange. Melissa's Lexus was in the driveway. The car I'd co-signed for because her credit had taken a hit from some maxed-out cards in her early 20s. Paid off now, mostly with my bonuses. I parked on the street, 2 houses down, turned off the engine. Waited. At 3:04 p.m., a silver Dodge Charger pulled into my driveway. The guy from the gas station got out, carrying a case of beer and a grocery bag. He was wearing gray joggers and a tank top that showed off his arms. He didn't knock, just walked right in through the front door. My front door. I sat there for another minute, watching the house. The living room curtains were drawn. They were never drawn during the day. Melissa hated a dark house. My phone was in my hand. I could call, confront them, storm in like they do in movies. But I didn't. Instead, I opened my email and sent a message to my supervisor. Migraine getting worse. Taking a sick day tomorrow too. Then I drove to the hardware store on Patterson Avenue and bought 3 things: a basic security camera, a portable phone charger, and a small notebook. The camera was the wireless kind, the type you could monitor from an app. The kid at the checkout, couldn't have been older than 19, asked if I was setting up home security. Something like that, I said. I went to the public library after that. Sat in the parking lot and did something I never thought I'd do. I started researching divorce law in New Jersey, adultery, asset division, alimony. The words blurred together at first, but I made myself focus. New Jersey was a no-fault divorce state, but fault could still matter for alimony. Adultery could be grounds to deny spousal support. But you needed proof. Real proof, not just suspicion. I thought about that video call. About the guy walking into my house like he owned it. About the red lingerie that supposedly made my wife uncomfortable. How long had this been going on? My phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. Hey babe, hope your headache is better. I'm making chicken tonight. Home by 6? I stared at the message, at the casual endearment, the domestic normalcy of it. I typed back, sounds great. See you then. Then I put the truck in drive and headed back toward Maple Drive. The charger was gone now. I'd been away for 45 minutes. But I needed to see her face. Needed to see if I could tell. Needed to figure out what the hell I was going to do next. I pulled into the driveway at 5:43 p.m. The silver Charger was gone. Melissa's Lexus sat in its usual spot, and through the kitchen window I could see her moving around, probably starting dinner like she'd promised. Normal. Everything looked completely normal. I grabbed the hardware store bag from the passenger seat and walked to the front door. My key turned in the lock. No deadbolt. She hadn't bothered securing the house after her guest left. And I stepped inside. Hey, babe. Her voice came from the kitchen, bright and warm. You're home. How was your day? Fine. I set my laptop bag down by the door, kept the hardware store bag in my hand. Migraine's better. She appeared in the kitchen doorway wearing yoga pants and one of my old college t-shirts. Hair pulled back in a ponytail. No makeup. She looked like she always did on Thursday evenings. Oh, good. I was worried about you, she smiled. I'm making chicken stir-fry. 20 minutes? Sounds great. I held up the bag. Just need to grab something from the garage real quick. Okay, babe. I walked past her, through the kitchen, into the garage. The space smelled like motor oil and cardboard. My workbench sat against the far wall, tools organized on pegboard above it. I'd built that bench myself, spent a whole weekend on it 3 years ago. I set the bag down and pulled out the security camera. The box showed a small white device, wireless, motion-activated. Records to cloud storage. I'd specifically chosen one that didn't require a visible hub or complicated installation. The garage had an outlet near the ceiling, installed by the previous owners for an automatic door opener we'd never gotten around to buying. I grabbed my ladder from the wall hooks and set it up. From the top step, I had a clear view of the driveway and front door. I mounted the camera in 5 minutes. The angle captured everything, both parking spots, the front walk, the porch, the door. Anyone coming or going would be recorded. My phone buzzed. The camera's app showed a live feed of the empty driveway, already syncing to cloud storage. David, dinner's ready? I climbed down, folded the ladder, shoved the empty box behind some paint cans. Back in the kitchen, she'd set the table. 2 plates, 2 glasses of water, serving bowl of stir-fry in the center. Steam rose from the chicken and vegetables. It smelled good. She was a decent cook. I sat down across from her. So what did you need from the garage? She spooned stir-fry onto her plate. Just organizing some tools. Been meaning to do it for a while. Ah, she passed me the serving bowl. Well, I'm glad your migraine's better. I know those really knock you out. I filled my plate. The chicken was tender, vegetables still crisp. She'd used that sauce I liked, the one with ginger and garlic. How was your day? I asked. Oh, boring conference call this morning. Then I caught up on paperwork. Nothing exciting. She twirled noodles on her fork. Actually got everything done early, so I did some laundry and cleaned the bathroom. Nice. Yeah, I figured I'd be productive since I was home. She took a bite, chewed, swallowed. Oh, and I need to pick up our dry cleaning tomorrow. I keep forgetting. I looked at her. Really looked at her. She met my eyes with that same open expression she always had. No guilt, no nervousness, no tells. I can grab it, I said. I passed right by there on my way home. Really? That'd be great, babe. Thank you. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Her palm was warm. You're the best. We ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes. The kitchen clock ticked above the sink. Outside, a car drove past. Everything felt surreal, like I was watching this scene from somewhere else, seeing myself sit at this table with this woman who'd had another man in our house 3 hours ago. So I was thinking, Melissa said, setting down her fork. Maybe we could do something this weekend? It's been a while since we had a real date night. Sure. What did you have in mind? I don't know. Maybe that Italian place you like? Or we could drive into the city, see a show. Italian sounds good. Perfect. She smiled. I'll make a reservation for Saturday. 7 o'clock? Works for me. She picked up her fork again. Oh, and my mom called today. She wants to know if we're coming for Thanksgiving. When is it this year? Fourth Thursday in November. Same as always, babe. She laughed. The 28th. Right? I did the mental math. 5 weeks away. Yeah, we can probably make it. I'll tell her we're coming then. Melissa finished her stir-fry and stood, gathering her plate. You want seconds? I'm good. She carried her dishes to the sink and started rinsing them. I watched her back, the familiar shape of her shoulders, the way she always rinsed dishes before putting them in the dishwasher, even though I'd told her 100 times it wasn't necessary. 6 years of marriage, 6 years of these dinners, these conversations, this routine. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out under the table. The camera app showed a notification. Motion detected. I opened the feed. A neighbor's cat walked across our driveway, triggering the sensor. The image was crystal clear, even in the fading evening light. Everything okay? Melissa turned from the sink. Yeah, just work email. They can't leave you alone even when you're sick? She dried her hands on a towel. That's ridiculous. It's fine, nothing urgent. She came back to the table and started clearing my plate. I stood and helped her, carrying the serving bowl to the counter. We moved around each other with practiced ease, the choreography of shared domestic space. I'm going to take a shower, she said, loading the last dish. Then maybe we can watch something? I'm caught up on that show you like. Sure. She kissed my cheek, quick, casual, and headed toward the bedroom. I stood in the kitchen listening to her footsteps, the bathroom door closing, the water starting. Then I pulled out my phone again and opened the Notes app. Thursday, October 24th, 5:43 p.m. Arrived home. 5:45 p.m. Installed camera in garage. 6 p.m. Dinner with M. She mentioned conference call this morning. Did laundry and cleaned bathroom. Wants date night Saturday. Asked about Thanksgiving. No signs of distress or guilt. Acting completely normal. I saved the note and checked the camera feed again. Empty driveway. Porch light starting to glow in the dusk. My laptop was still by the front door. I retrieved it and sat down at the kitchen table, opening it to the divorce law research I'd saved earlier. New Jersey Statute 2A 34-2. Grounds for divorce include adultery. The innocent spouse may be entitled to a favorable property settlement and alimony from the offending spouse. But I needed evidence. Solid, documented evidence that would hold up in court. One security camera wasn't enough. I needed more. Needed to know the full extent of it. How often he came over. How long this had been going on. Whether there were others. I opened a new browser tab and searched for private investigators in New Jersey. The shower shut off. I closed the laptop. Melissa emerged 15 minutes later in pajamas, hair wet, smelling like her coconut shampoo. She curled up on the couch and patted the cushion next to her. "Come sit with me." I sat. She leaned against my shoulder, pulling a blanket over both of us. "What do you want to watch?" She scrolled through streaming options on the TV. "You pick." She selected some comedy series I'd never heard of. The opening credits played. She laughed at something one of the characters said. I sat there with my wife pressed against my side, her warmth seeping through my shirt, and stared at the screen without seeing it. My phone was in my pocket. The camera was recording. Tomorrow, I'd pick up the dry cleaning. And I'd start making calls. I woke up Friday morning to Melissa's alarm. She stirred beside me, reached across to silence her phone, then rolled over and kissed my cheek. "Morning," she mumbled, already sliding out of bed. "Morning." I watched her pad to the bathroom, same as every weekday. Shower running, hairdryer. The familiar rhythm of our morning routine, except now every sound felt like evidence of something. Evidence of normalcy she was maintaining. Evidence of a performance. I got up, made coffee, checked the camera app on my phone while the Keurig hummed. No alerts overnight. The garage had remained empty after I'd pulled my Civic in at 11:47 p.m. Melissa came downstairs in her work clothes. Navy slacks, cream blouse. Professional, put together. She poured coffee into her travel mug, added 2 pumps of caramel syrup. "I've got back-to-back meetings today," she said, scrolling through her phone. "Probably won't be able to text much." "No problem." She looked up, studied my face for a moment. "You feeling better? The migraine?" "Yeah, much better." "Good." She smiled, grabbed her keys from the hook by the door. "Love you." "Love you too." The door closed. Her Lexus started. I watched through the kitchen window as she backed out of the driveway, same as always. I called in sick to work. Sent the email to my supervisor at 7:52 a.m. Still not feeling well, probably a virus. Didn't want to spread it around the office. He responded within minutes. "Feel better, take the weekend if you need it." Then I drove to the dry cleaner. It wasn't something I'd planned. Melissa had mentioned it last week. She'd dropped off some clothes, asked if I could pick them up Friday after work. The ticket was on the refrigerator, held by a magnet shaped like a pineapple. I grabbed it on my way out. The place was on Broad Street, wedged between a nail salon and a tax preparation office that wouldn't be busy again until April. A bell chimed when I pushed through the door. The air smelled like chemical solvents and steam. An older woman stood behind the counter, maybe 60, reading glasses hanging from a beaded chain around her neck. "Help you?" I handed her the ticket. She disappeared into the back, returned a moment later with several items on hangers, wrapped in thin plastic. She laid them on the counter, started ringing them up. $42.50. I pulled out my wallet, handed her my card. While she processed the payment, I glanced at the clothes. 2 of Melissa's blouses, her gray blazer, a dress I recognized from our anniversary dinner last year, and a men's dress shirt. White, long-sleeved, still wrapped in plastic. I stared at it. "Something wrong?" the woman asked, handing me the receipt to sign. "This shirt." I touched the plastic. "I didn't drop this off." She leaned forward, squinted at the tag stapled to the plastic. "It's on the same ticket. Your wife brought it in." "What size is it?" She checked the tag inside the collar, visible through the plastic. Large, 16.5, 34, 35. I wore medium, 15.5, 32, 33. The woman shrugged. She said it was her husband's. I remember because she was specific about the starch. Medium starch on this one, light on her blouses. My hand was still touching the plastic. I could feel my pulse in my fingertips. You want me to check if there was a mistake? She asked. No. I signed the receipt, my signature barely legible. No, it's fine. She handed me the clothes. I carried them out to my car, laid them carefully across the back seat. The shirt was on top. I could see the collar through the plastic, crisp and white and exactly the wrong size. I sat in the driver's seat for 3 full minutes, staring at nothing. Then I drove home. The house was empty. I hung Melissa's clothes in her closet, left the shirt in the plastic, laid it on the bed. Took a photo with my phone. The tag was visible. The size, the dry cleaner stamp, the date received, October 28th. Tuesday, 3 days ago. I opened my phone's photo gallery, scrolled back through the camera footage from yesterday, found the timestamp, 3:04 p.m., the silver Dodge Charger pulling into the garage. Zoomed in on the license plate, took a screenshot. Then I went back further, checking the previous days. The camera had only been installed Thursday afternoon, but I checked the motion sensor log anyway. Nothing before 6:23 p.m. when I'd pulled in myself to test it. I sat on the edge of the bed, the white shirt beside me. He'd been here before, multiple times probably. Enough times that his shirts ended up in our laundry. Enough times that Melissa took them to the dry cleaner with her own clothes, specified the starch level, picked them up like it was normal, like he was part of the household routine. My phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. Meetings are brutal. Hope you're resting. I typed back, yeah, just taking it easy. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then, want me to grab dinner on the way home? Sure, whatever you want. Thai? Sounds good. I set the phone down, looked at the shirt again. The thing about evidence is that it accumulates. Each piece alone might be explained away. The lingerie, the video call, even the man coming to the house, but together they formed a pattern. And now this. Physical proof that he'd been here enough times to leave his clothes. That Melissa was caring for his belongings like a wife would. Like she was practicing being his wife. I picked up the shirt, still in its plastic, and carried it to the guest room. Put it in the closet behind some storage boxes where Melissa wouldn't see it. Then I went downstairs and made a sandwich I didn't eat. At 2:15 p.m., the camera app sent an alert. Motion detected in garage. I opened the live feed. The silver Dodge Charger was pulling in. I was home. He didn't know I was home. My first instinct was to hide. Go upstairs, stay quiet, let him think the house was empty like it should be on a Friday afternoon. But I was already downstairs. My car was in the driveway. If he looked, he'd see it. I heard the garage door to the house open. Footsteps in the mudroom. He appeared in the kitchen doorway and froze. We stared at each other. He was younger than I'd thought when I saw him at the gas station. 22, maybe 23. Wearing joggers and a fitted t-shirt that showed off the hours he spent at the gym. He had a key in his hand. Our house key. The one that should have been on Melissa's ring. "Who the hell are you?" he asked. The audacity of the question hit me like cold water. "I live here," I said. My voice was calm. Flat. "Who are you?" His face shifted. Confusion, then recognition, then something like annoyance. "Oh, you're the husband." "I'm the husband, yes." He glanced behind him like he was considering leaving. Then he looked back at me, and I saw him make a calculation. Saw him decide something. "Look, man, this is awkward, but get out of my house." "Melissa gave me a key." "I don't care what Melissa gave you. Get out." He didn't move. "She said you guys were basically done." That you're just going through the motions until… Get out. Something in my voice must have registered because he took a step back. But he didn't leave. Instead, he pulled out his phone. I'm calling her, he said. Go ahead. He tapped the screen, put it on speaker. It rang twice before Melissa answered. Hey, babe. Your husband's here, he said. Silence on the other end. Long enough that I could hear office noise in the background. Voices, phones ringing. What? Her voice was different, tight. I'm at the house. He's here. More silence. Then, Tyler, I told you not to come over on Fridays. Tyler. So that was his name. You said he works Fridays, Tyler said. He called in sick, I said, loud enough for her to hear. David? Her voice went up half an octave. David, I can explain. I walked over, took the phone from Tyler's hand. He let me. Come home, I said into the phone. Now. I ended the call. Tyler and I stood in my kitchen, not speaking. He shifted his weight, crossed his arms, uncrossed them. Started to say something, stopped. You should go, I said. Yeah. But he didn't move. For what it's worth, man. I didn't know you didn't know. She said you guys had an arrangement. We don't. Yeah, I'm getting that now. He left through the garage. I heard the Charger start, heard it back out of the driveway. Then silence. I sat down at the kitchen table and waited for my wife to come home. I ended the call and stood in my living room, Tyler still on the couch, looking smaller now. The confidence had drained out of him when I'd said Melissa's name into the phone. When he'd realized I actually knew her. That this wasn't some bizarre misunderstanding. She's on her way, I said. Tyler pulled out his phone. His thumbs moved across the screen. I wouldn't, I said. He looked up at me. Whatever you're about to send her, I wouldn't. She's driving. And you want her to get here safely, don't you? For this conversation? His thumbs stopped. He stared at his screen for a long moment, then set the phone face down on his thigh. I sat in the armchair across from him. The same chair where I'd sat last night, researching divorce attorneys while Melissa slept upstairs. Or pretended to sleep. Who knew anymore? How long? I asked. What? How long have you been seeing my wife? Tyler shifted on the couch. We met in July, at her gym. July, 4 months. The camera in the hallway had only been up since yesterday, but it had already captured enough. 4 months of this. 4 months of him coming here, to my house, with a key. And she told you we had an arrangement. Yeah. She said you guys were basically roommates, that you hadn't, in over a year. That you were just waiting for the right time to make it official. I almost laughed. We'd had sex 3 days ago, Sunday night. Nothing spectacular, we'd both been tired, but normal. Married normal. She said you knew about me? Tyler asked. It came out like a question, like he was testing whether his version of reality could still be true. No. She said you were cool with it, that you had your own thing going on. I don't. Tyler's phone buzzed. He grabbed it, looked at the screen. His face went pale. What did she say? I asked. She wants to know what's happening. What did you tell her, before I said not to text? Just that I was here and that you were here and that she needed to come home. His phone buzzed again, then again. She's calling you, I said. Tyler stared at the screen like it might bite him. Answer it, I said. Put it on speaker. He hesitated, then swiped. Hello? What the hell is going on? Melissa's voice filled the room. She sounded angry. Not scared, not caught. Angry. Why are you at the house? David's supposed to be at work. He's here, Tyler said. Melissa, he doesn't know about us. He didn't know. Silence on the line. I could hear road noise. She was driving fast. Put him on, she said finally. Tyler held the phone toward me. I didn't take it. I'm here, I said, loud enough for her to hear. I told you to come home. That's all you need to know right now. David, drive safely. We'll talk when you get here. I nodded to Tyler. He ended the call. We sat in silence. I could hear the kitchen clock ticking, the refrigerator humming. Normal house sounds. Everything looked the same as it had yesterday morning when I'd left for work. Same cream-colored walls, same furniture, same decorative mirror by the door. But it was all different now. Contaminated. I didn't know, Tyler said quietly. I swear to God, I didn't know she was lying. You thought a married woman's husband was fine with you having a key to his house? She said you were never here, that you basically lived at work, that the marriage was dead and you both knew it. And you believed her. Why wouldn't I? She's not some kid. She's a professional. She's got her life together. I thought. He trailed off. I waited. I thought she was going to leave you, he said. She kept saying soon, that she just needed to get her finances in order, that she needed to talk to a lawyer first. She made it sound like it was happening, like we were going to be together for real. The laugh came out of me before I could stop it. Short and bitter. What? Tyler asked. She told you she needed to talk to a lawyer. Yeah. Did she? Talk to one? I don't know. She said she was handling it. I pulled out my phone and opened the photos. Found the one I'd taken of the dry cleaning receipt. Held it up so Tyler could see. You see this? From yesterday. This is a receipt for your shirt. The one you're wearing right now, actually. She picked it up from the dry cleaner. Told them it was her husband's. Tyler looked down at his shirt. Light blue, button down. Probably cost more than he made in a week at whatever job he had. She's been doing your laundry, I said. Taking your shirts to the dry cleaner with hers. Playing house with you while playing house with me. I didn't ask her to. I know, that's not the point. The point is she's been running 2 complete lives, 2 complete relationships, and she's been lying to both of us. Tyler's phone buzzed again. He looked at it, then at me. She wants to know how far away I live. She's asking if I can leave before she gets here. Tell her no. Man, I don't want to be here for this. Tell her no. Tell her we're both waiting. Tyler typed slowly, like each word hurt. His phone buzzed immediately with her response. She says it would be better if we talked separately. She says she can explain everything, but not with both of us here. I'm sure she can explain, I said. I'm sure she's got a whole story ready. Probably different versions for each of us. That's why we're both staying. The sound of a car engine came from outside. Too soon. She'd been at the office when I called. 25 minutes away minimum. This was someone else. I went to the window. A silver Accord pulled into the Johnsons' driveway next door. Mr. Johnson getting home from the grocery store. He waved when he saw me in the window. I waved back. Normal Friday afternoon in the neighborhood. I checked my watch. 1:47 p.m. Melissa would be here soon. Maybe 10 more minutes if she was driving the way I thought she was driving. Can I ask you something? Tyler said. I turned from the window. Why are you so calm? I mean, you just found out your wife is cheating. You should be… I don't know. Shouldn't you be losing it? I sat back down in the armchair. I found out yesterday, I said. His eyes widened. Yesterday? At a gas station. Saw you on a video call with her. You were in your car. She was here in our bedroom wearing red lingerie. Oh, Jesus. So I've had time to process. I've had time to think. And I've had time to prepare. Prepare for what? I didn't answer. I was thinking about the camera in the hallway still recording. About the folder on my laptop with screenshots and timestamps. About the notes I'd taken. About New Jersey being a no-fault divorce state, but fault still mattering for alimony. About equitable distribution of assets and how adultery played into that. Tyler's phone buzzed. "She's 5 minutes away," he said. She's really freaking out, man. She says I need to leave. She says you're going to hurt me. Am I threatening you? No. Have I touched you? No. Then you're fine. And you're staying. Tyler slumped back into the couch. He looked young suddenly. Not like the confident guy I'd seen yesterday at the gas station, or the one who'd walked into my house with a key like he owned the place. He looked like a kid who'd gotten in over his head. Which I supposed he was. My phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. "Please don't do this. Please. Let me explain. Just you and me." I typed back. "Both of us or neither of us?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. I'm almost there. I put my phone away and waited. The sound of tires on gravel came exactly 23 minutes after I'd sent the text. I heard the car door slam, then her footsteps on the walkway, quick, purposeful. The key turned in the lock. Melissa walked in already talking. "David, what's going on? I was in the middle of..." She stopped. Her eyes went from me to Tyler, back to me. The color drained from her face in a way I'd never seen before, not even when her father died. Her hand was still on the doorknob. "Close the door," I said. She didn't move. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. "I can explain." "Close the door, Melissa." She pushed it shut behind her, but stayed there, back against it like she might need to run. Her purse slid down her arm to her wrist. She was wearing her work clothes, navy blazer, cream blouse, black pants, professional, put together. The woman I'd kissed goodbye this morning at 6:15. "Sit down," I said. "David, sit down." She moved to the armchair, the one we'd bought at that furniture outlet in Edison. On sale, floor model. She'd been so pleased with the deal. She perched on the edge of it, hands clasped in her lap. I watched her notice the camera on the bookshelf. Her eyes widened slightly. Tyler shifted on the couch. "Look, man, I told you." "You don't speak unless I ask you a question," I said. "That clear?" He nodded. Some of the gym rat confidence had leaked out of him. He looked younger now, scared. "Good." I turned to Melissa. "How long?" "David, please let me..." "How long?" Her hands twisted together. "Since July." "The conference in Atlantic City," she nodded. Didn't meet my eyes. "He was there?" His gym has a booth at the medical sales conventions. That's where we met." 4 months. I'd been right. The dry cleaning receipt hadn't lied. "And you gave him a key when?" "August." Her voice was barely audible. "Speak up." "August." Louder now. "After you went to that site visit in Trenton. The 3-day one." I remembered that trip. The bridge project. I'd called her every night. She'd sounded normal, loving even. Asked about my day, told me about hers. All of it performance. "How many times has he been here?" She looked at Tyler. He stared at the floor. "I asked you, not him. How many times?" "I don't... Maybe 20? 25? "In our bed?" She flinched. "Yes. Where else?" "David?" "Where else, Melissa?" The couch. The shower. Her voice broke. "Does it matter?" "It all matters. Every detail matters. Keep going." "The guest room. Once in the kitchen." I felt something cold settle in my chest. The kitchen. Where I made her coffee every morning. Where we'd had breakfast together 6 hours ago. "Anyone else?" Her head snapped up. "What?" "You heard me. Is he the only one?" "Yes, God, David, yes." "You'll forgive me if I don't take your word for it. You've been lying to me for 4 months. Why would you start telling the truth now? She started crying. Quiet tears, the kind she used to cry during sad movies. I felt nothing watching them. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. What did you tell him about me? She wiped her eyes. What? Tyler here seems to think we have an arrangement, that you told him our marriage was over. That true? She looked at him again, something sharp in her expression now. Fear, maybe. Or anger. I said things weren't good between us. What things? That we'd grown apart. That you worked all the time, that we hadn't been intimate in a while. We had sex 2 weeks ago. Her face flushed. I know. So you lied to him too? She didn't answer. I turned to Tyler. Did she tell you she loved you? He glanced at Melissa, uncertain. Yeah, a few times. Did you believe her? Yeah, man, I did. Did you love her back? He shifted. I mean, yeah, she's cool. She's 33 years old, married, using you to feel young again. And you're what, 23? 24? 25. Right, 25. You think she was going to leave me for you? Move into your apartment? Meet your parents? He didn't answer. Or were you just enjoying the free access to a nice house and a woman who'd buy you things? Hey man, I didn't ask her to… The shirt at the dry cleaner, the black one, expensive. She bought that for you? He nodded slowly. What else? Some clothes, shoes. She paid for my certification course last month. I looked at Melissa. The $1,500 you said was for your cousin's wedding gift. She closed her eyes. What else? I asked Tyler. Supplements, gym membership renewal. She took me to that steakhouse in New Brunswick a couple times. Carver's? Yeah. The place we'd gone for our anniversary 3 years running, where she'd told me last month was too expensive for a regular dinner when I'd suggested it. You take him in the Lexus? I asked Melissa. She nodded. The one we're both paying for. The one with my name on the insurance. David, please. Did you ever think about me? The question came out harder than I'd intended. When you were with him, when you were lying to me, did you think about me at all? She was crying harder now. Every day. I thought about you every day. But you kept doing it. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong with you, I said. You wanted something and you took it. You just didn't want to give up what you already had. The house, the security, the respectability. You wanted it all. That's not… Did you tell anyone? Your friends? Your sister? She shook her head. No one knew? No. Why not? Because I knew what they'd say. I knew it was wrong. But you did it anyway. She had no answer for that. I stood up, walked to the window. The maple tree outside was almost bare now. A few red leaves clung to the highest branches. I want to know what you plan to do, I said, still looking outside. Long term. Were you going to keep this going indefinitely, until I found out? Or were you planning to leave? Silence behind me. I turned around. Answer me. I don't know. Her voice was small. I didn't think that far ahead. You didn't think at all. No, I didn't. Tyler cleared his throat. Can I go? No, I said. You're going to sit there until I'm done. You wanted access to my house, my wife, my life. You get to see what happens when it all falls apart. He sank back into the couch. I pulled out my phone, opened the voice recording app, hit record and set it on the coffee table. What are you doing? Melissa asked. Making sure I have everything documented. Now, I want you to tell me, in detail, every time you were with him. Dates, if you remember them. Times. What you did. Where you did it. David, no. You don't get to say no anymore. You lost that right. Start talking. She looked at Tyler. He looked at the floor. Start with Atlantic City, I said. And don't leave anything out. Her hands were shaking. I can't. You can. And you will. Or I walk out of here right now and you never see me again except through lawyers. Your choice. She took a shaky breath. Started talking. I listened. Recorded every word. Watched my marriage end in real time, one sordid detail after another, and felt absolutely nothing at all. I watched Melissa's hands shake as she held her phone, staring at the blank note she was supposed to fill with her confession. We'd been sitting in silence for maybe 10 minutes. Tyler had retreated to the corner of the living room, perched on the edge of the armchair like he might bolt at any second. I don't know where to start, Melissa said finally. July, I said. You said it started in July. Start there. She swallowed hard. It was July 15th. There was a pharmacy conference in Atlantic City. Tyler was working the booth for one of our partner companies. Which company? Med Supply Direct. They do equipment and furniture for medical offices. She wouldn't look at me. We got drinks after the exhibit hall closed. Just talking at first. He made me laugh. I nodded slowly, keeping my face neutral. Go on. We exchanged numbers, started texting. Nothing physical at first, just talking. About our lives, she stopped. About how terrible your husband was, I offered. No, I never said that. I told him we had problems, that we'd grown apart. Had we? The question seemed to catch her off guard. I don't know. Maybe I convinced myself we had. Tyler shifted in his chair. I glanced at him. You stay quiet unless I ask you something directly. Understand? He nodded. I turned back to Melissa. When did it become physical? July 28th. We met at a hotel in Newark, the Marriott on Raymond Boulevard. Her voice had gone flat, mechanical. We were there for 3 hours. You told me you were visiting your sister that day. I know. Your sister who lives in Vermont, who you haven't actually seen since Christmas. Melissa closed her eyes. Yes? How many times? Hotels, I mean. 4 times. The Marriott twice, a Holiday Inn in Edison once, and… She hesitated. The Sheraton in Woodbridge once. I made a mental note to check our credit card statements for those dates. When did you give him the key to our house? August 19th, after we got back from your parents' anniversary party. I remembered that weekend. We'd driven to Pennsylvania, stayed overnight, came back Sunday evening. Melissa had seemed distant during the drive home. I'd assumed she was tired. Why? He asked. He said he wanted to feel closer to me, wanted to be in my space. Our space, I corrected. Our house, that I'm paying the mortgage on. I know. You know. I let the words hang there. Tell me about the first time he came here. Melissa's fingers moved across her phone screen, typing slowly. August 22nd. You were at work. He came over around noon. We had lunch. He stayed for about 2 hours. Where in the house? She flinched. The living room, the kitchen. And? The bedroom. Our bedroom. Yes. I stood up, walked to the window. The maple tree outside had lost most of its leaves now. The branches looked skeletal against the gray November sky. How many times total has he been here? I don't know exactly. 20, maybe 25 times. And you're sure about that number? Not more? Tyler spoke up. It was more like 30. I turned to look at him. I told you to stay quiet. You asked for accurate information, he said, meeting my eyes. It was closer to 30 times, sometimes twice a week. Melissa shot him a look I couldn't quite read. Anger? Fear? Betrayal at his betrayal? 30 times, I repeated. In our house, in our bed. While I was at work, paying the bills, keeping the lights on. I walked back to my chair and sat down. What else did you buy him besides the clothes and the certification course? Dinners. Lots of dinners. There was a watch. What kind of watch? A Fossil. It was on sale, $200. Where is it? Tyler held up his wrist. A silver watch caught the light. Take it off, I said. He hesitated. Take it off. He unclasped the watch and set it on the coffee table. What else? I asked Melissa. Gym membership. 6 months prepaid at that place on Hamilton Street. PowerFit or Power Zone, something like that. Powerhouse Fitness, Tyler muttered. How much? $450. I did the math in my head. Clothes, certification course, watch, gym membership, dinners. We were probably looking at maybe $4,000. What else? Concert tickets. We saw 2 shows. One at the Prudential Center, one at the Stone Pony. Who did you see? The Weekend in Newark. Some rock band in Asbury Park. I don't remember the name. I do, Tyler said. The Gaslight Anthem. How much were the tickets? Melissa checked her phone, scrolling through what I assumed were old receipts or confirmations. The weekend tickets were $320 for both. The Gaslight Anthem was $80. You told me you went to those concerts with Julie from work. I know. Does Julie know you used her as an alibi? No. I leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to go through every credit card statement, every bank statement, every receipt you can find from July until now. You're going to document every single dollar you spent on him. Every dinner, every drink, every gift, every hotel room, everything. Do you understand? Yes. And you're going to write down every time he was in this house. Dates, times, what you did. All of it. Her face had gone pale. David, all of it, Melissa. Because right now I'm trying to figure out if I'm looking at a divorce or if I need to talk to the police about theft. Theft? Tyler sat up straight. I didn't steal anything. You took a key that wasn't yours to take. You entered a home you had no legal right to enter. You accepted gifts purchased with money that wasn't hers to spend. It was marital property. So yeah, we might be talking about theft. I had no idea if that was actually how the law worked, but Tyler didn't know that either. His face had gone ashen. I want both of you to understand something, I continued. This isn't anger talking. This isn't emotion. This is me being very, very practical about the situation you've created. Melissa, you've destroyed our marriage. That's done. But you've also potentially committed financial infidelity, which in New Jersey affects asset division. Tyler, you've participated in that. You accepted gifts you knew were coming from a married woman's household funds. The room was completely silent, except for the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Now, I said, looking at my phone. It was 3:47 p.m. Melissa, you have until midnight tonight to compile everything I asked for. Dates, amounts, locations, times. I want it in a document I can read. Email it to me. Don't text it. Okay, I turned to Tyler. You're going to leave now. You're going to give me that key, the one to my house, and you're going to write down your full legal name, address, phone number, and the name of the company you work for. Why? Because if I decide I need to pursue legal action, I'm going to need to know how to find you. And if Melissa's confession doesn't match yours, I'm going to want to talk to you again. He pulled the key from his pocket. My house key, the one I'd paid a locksmith $12 to cut 3 years ago, and set it next to the watch on the coffee table. Then he took out his phone. I'll text you my information. No, write it down. There's a notepad on the kitchen counter. He got up and walked to the kitchen. I heard a drawer open, then the scratch of pen on paper. Melissa was crying now, silent tears running down her face. I felt nothing looking at her. That surprised me. I'd expected to feel something, rage, grief, something. But there was just a cold, empty space where my feelings for her used to be. Tyler returned with a piece of paper and handed it to me. I read it. Tyler James Brennan, 847 South Park Avenue, Apt 3B, Lakewood, NJ. His phone number. Med Supply Direct, Warehouse Associate. You can go now, I said. He looked at Melissa. She didn't look back. I said you can go. Tyler walked to the door, opened it, and stepped outside. He didn't say goodbye. The door clicked shut behind him. I sat there with my wife in the house we'd bought together, in the living room where we'd hosted friends and family, where we'd talked about having kids someday. Midnight, I reminded her. Everything documented. Everything. She nodded, still crying. I stood up and walked to the bedroom, our bedroom, the one I'd be sleeping in alone from now on, and closed the door. I sat in the conference room of Whitman and Associates, the law firm I'd chosen after 3 days of research and consultations. The lawyer across from me, Patricia Whitman, was reviewing the documents I'd compiled. The timeline Melissa had sent at 11:43 p.m. that Friday night. The bank statements showing thousands in unexplained charges. The photos of Tyler's shirt from the dry cleaner, screenshots from the security camera, and Tyler's written statement that had arrived via certified mail 4 days after our confrontation. This is comprehensive, Patricia said, looking up at me over her reading glasses. She was in her mid-50s, with gray hair pulled back in a practical bun. Most clients come in with suspicions and maybe some text messages. You've built an entire case. I work in engineering, I said. Documentation is what I do. She almost smiled. Well, it's going to make this straightforward. New Jersey is no fault, but given the adultery and the financial infidelity, spending marital assets on an affair partner, we can argue against alimony and for a favorable asset division. What are we looking at? The house is in both names, but you've paid 80% of the mortgage based on these statements. Her car is titled jointly. The retirement accounts are marital property, but, again, you've contributed significantly more. We'll push for you to keep the house, your full retirement account, and your vehicle. She can have her car, which you'll stop paying for immediately, and we'll offer her 20% of the home equity to walk away clean. And if she fights it, Patricia tapped the folder, then we present this to a judge. The affair, the financial deception, the fact that she gave a stranger access to marital property. New Jersey judges don't look kindly on that kind of behavior. She'll lose. I nodded slowly. How long will this take? If she's smart and takes the settlement, 3 to 4 months. If she fights, could be a year. I want it done as fast as possible. Then we'll file immediately and make the first offer generous enough that her lawyer will tell her to take it. Melissa moved out 2 weeks later. I'd been staying at an extended stay hotel near the office, but I made sure to be there when she packed. I stood in the doorway of our bedroom, my bedroom now, and watched her fold clothes into suitcases. Where are you going? I asked. My sister's, in Vermont. She didn't look at me. She's letting me stay until I figure things out. What about Tyler? Her hands stilled on a sweater. That's over. I ended it the day after. After everything. Did he take it well? Does it matter? No, I suppose it doesn't. She zipped the suitcase closed and stood it upright. David, I know you won't believe me, but I really am sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. You wanted something new, something exciting, something that made you feel young and desired. I kept my voice neutral. I understand the impulse. What I don't understand is why you didn't just leave first. Because I didn't want to lose you. You can't have both, Melissa. You can't keep someone while you're looking for their replacement. She wiped her eyes. I know that now. Little late. She carried the suitcase past me, down the hallway. I heard her make 2 more trips. Clothes, toiletries, some books. She didn't take any furniture, didn't take the wedding photos from the mantel. Left her key on the kitchen counter. The door closed at 4:32 p.m. on a Tuesday in November. I stood in my empty house and felt nothing but relief. The divorce was finalized on March 3rd. Melissa signed the settlement agreement without modification. I kept the house, my retirement account, and my vehicle. She took her car and $30,000, 20% of the home equity, as Patricia had calculated. No alimony, no ongoing financial ties. I saw her once more at the final hearing. She'd lost weight. Her hair was shorter. She looked tired in a way that makeup couldn't hide. We didn't speak beyond what the judge required. When it was over, she walked out of the courthouse ahead of me, and I watched her get into her Lexus, which I'd stopped making payments on in December, and drive away. That night, I changed the locks on my house. All of them, even though Melissa had returned her key months ago. I wanted new locks that had never known her touch, never opened for anyone but me. I sold the bed we'd shared and bought a new one. Repainted the bedroom a different color. Replaced the shower curtain, the towels, the coffee maker. Small things, but they mattered. I was erasing her from my space, one item at a time. Work helped. I threw myself into projects, took on extra assignments. My supervisor noticed and appreciated it. By June, I'd been promoted to senior engineer with a salary increase that would have made the old me, the married me, excited to share with someone. I went on a few dates. A woman from the gym, a friend of a colleague, someone I met at a county planning meeting. They were fine, pleasant. But I wasn't ready, and I was honest about that. Most of them understood. On the anniversary of the day I'd seen Tyler's video call, October 24th, 1 year later, I drove past the gas station on Route 9. I didn't stop. Didn't need Tylenol or Gatorade. Just wanted to see the place where my old life had ended. It looked exactly the same. Same pumps, same neon sign, same lottery advertisements in the window. The world hadn't changed at all. Only I had. I thought about Melissa sometimes, usually late at night when the house was quiet. Wondered if she'd learned anything, if she'd changed, if she regretted not just the affair but the way she'd handled all of it. But those thoughts were academic, distant, like wondering about a character in a book I'd finished reading. The camera in the garage came down in August. I didn't need it anymore. Didn't need to monitor who came and went. The house was mine now, fully and completely. What I learned from all of it wasn't complicated or profound. It was simple, really. Trust isn't something you give blindly. It's earned through consistent action over time. And when someone shows you who they really are, when they make choices that reveal their character, you should believe them. Melissa had shown me she was someone who would lie to my face while destroying our marriage behind my back. Someone who would risk everything we'd built for the thrill of something new. Someone who would spend our money on another man and sleep soundly beside me afterward. I believed her. And I walked away from someone I finally understood I'd never really known at all. The house on Maple Drive is quiet now. Just me and the maple tree that's starting to turn orange again as fall returns. I drink my coffee in the morning, go to work, come home to a space that's entirely my own. No lies, no performances. No one pretending to be something they're not. It's not the life I planned, but it's honest. And after everything, that's enough.